Why did you felt the need of having your own event? I mean, there are events happening across the globe. Shopify organizes event, other companies do it. Why did you felt it?
I started with events. I found on my first Shopify app, I was building it with two other people that I met.
For someone like me, we would love if there is also an online version available. I mean, it could be live streaming of the event or the sessions happening. Are you planning something around that?
To be honest, I'm not. I'm trying for the wide event. I'm trying to make it something special.
You recently launched a new tool, which is App Store Pulse. See in future the tool shaping. Is it going to be like a paid tool with additional features to track rank, track your keywords or something like that?
But that thing about analyzing, especially with AI today and having a lot of insights that way, really, really great.
What is that one underrated Shopify app category today?
Security. I would say security.
Hello, and welcome to the SaaS Hub Podcast. This is the Shopify App Founders Edition, Season 1, and this episode is powered by the Support Heroes. I'm your host, Yuvraj Kevte, founder at the SaaShub.com, where we curate the top 10 Shopify apps across all categories to help merchants, agencies, and founders make the best tooling decision. On the show, we go behind the scenes with the builders shaping the Shopify ecosystem. Today, I'm joined by Mat De Sousa, founder at White Bundles, one of the leading bundle and upsell apps on the Shopify App Store. Matt is also the creator of the Wide events and annual gathering of Shopify founders and operators in Paris, and recently launched an app called as App Store Pulse, a tool helping Shopify app founders audit and improve their listing. Matt, great to have you here on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
Awesome. Now, Matt, before we dive into White Bundles app and the White Bundles event and your other side projects, I just wanted to rewind quickly for the folks who probably don't know about you. And I'm sure everyone knows you in the ecosystem, but can you just quickly introduce yourself and give a quick background about what you're doing today?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mat De Sousa. I am from Paris. I'm 28 right now. And I started building Shopify apps since 2017. At that time, I was a student. I didn't know anything about marketing. I was a very bad developer, to be honest. And I started in this ecosystem after seeing like Ecommerce and especially Shopify growing in France. And at that time, I built 3 Shopify apps from 2017 to 2020. And I didn't make any money. It was really complicated. And so what happened is that I was finishing my studies in 2020. So I was studying engineering. And I just said, you know what, let's just build another app like the last one before going for a job or something. And I built White Bundle and it grew pretty quickly. So I was able to go from my studies directly to working on my app. So which was awesome and something that many people want. And so that's what happened. And in 2021, after growing my app, I just wanted to share content online. What happens is that at that time in France, we had a lot of content about growing Shopify stores, but there was nothing about growing Shopify apps, especially in France. So I started writing content at first in French about growing Shopify apps, but I've seen that there were not that many people interested in Shopify apps at that time. So I just switched to English and I started to get a lot of followers, especially on X. It was Twitter at the time, then on LinkedIn. And then I started to, as you said, create events and create different stuff around it. I have a Facebook community as well. And so my goal at the time was just, you know what, I didn't have any content when I started. So I struggled a lot. And I just wanted to, what I say is I just wanted to be the guy I wanted to meet when I started. And so, that's it.
No, that's awesome. Thanks a lot for sharing that context and background. Now, coming back to your app, White Bundles. Why bundles? Like, again, there were like literally a ton of categories. You could have built a subscriptions app, a mobile app builder, a reviews app, a loyalty app, whatever. But why did you choose bundles? Like, was there any insight that you had in bundling, or I mean, how did you go about deciding what category to choose first?
Yeah, so actually I didn't decide. Like I didn't wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to build a bundle app." What happened was pretty simple, and this is what I recommend to everyone. I was in a few communities, French communities of merchants, and so at that time I was kind of doing some freelance job on the side. So I was studying, doing some freelance job for Shopify merchants, and at some point there were, I think it was 2 or 3 people that were asking for kind of a bundle app, very small and specific one that didn't exist on the market. And so when you have 2 or 3 people requesting you to build the exact same thing, or I mean really, really close, it means usually that there is a need to build this thing for more people, which means that perhaps you had hundreds of people that were interested in that and they just didn't ask you. And so what I did was simple. I was building it, and I asked in the communities. I asked all the people I knew, like, "Is that something you want? You want? If I build this app, would you use it?" And I had a lot and a lot of people saying, "Yes, I want it. Yes, I want this app." And they were not just interested, like, "Yeah, it can be good." No, they were actually reaching out and saying, "What is the name of the app? Can I use it?" And it wasn't even built, but they wanted it. And that's exactly when you know that something can work and that you have, gold in your hands, something you can build and attract a lot of users. And so I just built it, but it wasn't something that I loved at that time. It was just, there is a need. I know how to build it. Let's just do it.
No, that's amazing. Now, tell me something. A lot of merchants focus heavily on acquiring traffic, right? But monetizing that traffic properly is a completely different challenge. Where do you think bundles fit into improving conversions and AOV of merchants?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So regarding, I think, merchants are really addicted to getting more visitors, getting more people to the store. So doing more ads and stuff like that. But this isn't the best thing. It means that when it comes to bundles, when it comes to upsells, what's really great is that with the exact same amount of visitors and customers, you can make way more money. And
Right.
there is one big problem also, is that many people are like break even. They're not making money. They're not losing. It's really hard to like be profitable. And so what happens is that just putting bundles on your store, upsells, it's like something you do in a day that can changes everything for your business. Because you start getting more money for each visitor without getting more traffic, and you start to make money. So I'd say, you start a Shopify store. You start getting traffic. You start getting sales. And at some point, when you have something that is working, it makes sense to add bundles, to add upsells, so that you can optimize everything and make way more money, even before trying to optimize the traffic. Because if you can make more money for all the people that are coming to the store, then it's even better.
Right. No, absolutely. Now, can you tell me a couple of common mistakes merchants typically do while they are setting up bundles on their store?
So there is one, probably the most easy, like the easiest one, is that they make it too complicated. The goal of bundles is to make more money. It's not to impact your conversions and do the contrary. So, for example, I see some merchants that are creating too many bundles. So, for example, if you go to a product page and you have like 5 or 6 bundles, the problem is that you are losing the customer. He has too many options. It's really complicated for him to actually choose what they want. So the goal is, you don't need many bundles. You just need the right ones. So the first thing is, try to add like 1 bundle, 2 bundles, perhaps 3, but make it simple and start like that. Don't try to add everything saying, "Hey, if I give them a lot of options, perhaps they will be able to choose what they want and make more money." Probably the second thing is regarding the design. When you look at some stores, when you look at the bundles, at least on White Bundle, and you see the design, there are many problems. First of all, you don't even know what bundle is currently selected. That one is really simple. It's like you go to the page, you see the bundles, and the design makes it really complicated to know what's happening inside. What is the bundle that is currently selected? What will I get from that bundle? And so, again, just make it simple. You make simple bundles, and after that, you can iterate and see what you can add to improve them. But at first, it's just make it simple. And perhaps another mistake would be like not choosing again, simple type of bundles. So they want to make like multiple products with a specific discount, and you get this, and like you lose the customers because your bundles are not clear. So I'd say the main thing is keep it simple, and then you can optimize and iterate as you get sales.
No, absolutely. I've literally seen a couple of stores which have tons of bundles. So when I was trying to buy something, they kept showing me multiple options, and end of the day, I was like, okay, let me wait for a moment and probably revisit this, because I was just confused by all the options available. And every option I choose, it was like, oh, if I just spend another $2, I probably get one more for free. And that kind of, went against that particular store. So I'm sure what you're saying makes really sense, that instead of over optimizing, instead of making it too complex, keep it simple, keep it easy for customers to understand. The goal is not to overcomplicate and optimize for conversion. The goal is to make sure that whatever traffic you get, just try to make the maximum amount of revenue from it. That's right,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Awesome. Now, for most apps, the growth typically comes from App Store organically. And again, it was definitely true back in 2016 to early 2020, 2022. Nowadays, App Store is getting super crowded. If I have to ask you, what were like those couple of growth factors which literally help White Bundle scale to, I believe you guys are at $40,000 MRR, if I'm not wrong. What were those factors, and what would be your 2 cents of advice to all the other app founders who are trying to struggle and, even get their first $100 or $1,000 in MRR?
Yeah, the main thing is what I said earlier. It's like choose the right app to build. If you build something that nobody wants, you will struggle a lot with growth. No matter what, if they don't need it, it will be really complicated. Now, if you build something that people actually need, what happens is that usually it's so good that they will tell others about it. So like for White Bundle, today, if you go to the Shopify App Store and you look at bundles, every bundle app is doing what White Bundle is doing. Definitely. It's like the main thing. When you think about bundles, you think about it. And thing is, when I started White Bundle, I was the first in that type of bundles. And so that's why people needed it. And so they started to talk about it because it was so good that people had to talk about it. So word of mouth is still today our best growth channel, because if it's good, if they need it, they will talk about it. So that's the main point. And probably that you did like 70% of the job just here, right? The other thing, obviously, is the Shopify App Store. What's great is that when you get word of mouth, you start to get more users. So more users means more reviews. More reviews, you
Right.
get like a better ranking on the Shopify App Store, you get more installs. And so it's like a growth loop like that, where, you get more reviews so that you get more users, they like it. So, it's something like that. Then I'd say, especially today, it's to create good relationships with merchants or agencies. When I started White Bundle in 2020, I was already building Shopify apps for 3 years.
Right.
So during these 3 years, even though I didn't have apps that actually worked, I was doing some freelance job. I made some friends that were merchants. And so when you go building a product and you already have some people who can help you build it, who can give you a lot of feedback, who can be your first customers, then obviously it helps. And so all of that, when I started White Bundle in the beginning, what's great is that they could tell me exactly what they wanted. They could spend time with me because they trusted me. They were like friends. And so that helps a lot. Once you have something that works, so you get decent traffic from the Shopify App Store, you get word of mouth, people likes your app. You just have to put it like, I would say more gasoline. Like basically you have something that works. So you can either run ads, you can do partnerships, you can work with influencers, people with communities. And so that's basically the goal. You have something, you just put fuel in, and that's it.
Awesome. I do have a follow-up question, because you said as more merchant comes in, more reviews comes in, and that's the overall cycle. While I've been curating apps over the last 6-7 months, I've spoken to over 800 plus app founders personally. A common challenge I've seen is these apps have been in the ecosystem for the last 4 or 5 years. They are doing in the north of 80,000 or $1 million in revenue. However, if I still look at the review, they have like 10, 20, 30 reviews, and there are a couple of apps which don't even have reviews. And if you just look at it, you would see that the app was published back in 2018, hardly 8, 9 reviews, but they're still making 40, 50, $60,000 in MRR, but zero reviews or lower reviews. I think nowadays this is like a trend that I've seen is, although they are making revenue, although people are using the app, but merchants are not open to going ahead and writing a review. And typically, what I understood is based on the conversation is most app founders are saying that merchants probably don't want to reveal what tech stack they are using, and that's why they don't want to go ahead and write a review for them. What are your thoughts on that? And how do you tackle that? Because you do have about, I think, 280 to 90 plus reviews right now.
So, thing is, the first one is we have. There was something recently that Shopify, they removed a lot of reviews on the Shopify App Store. They said it was outdated, and so they just removed them. Um, Obviously, it impacts the overall number of reviews, right? If you've been an app for like 10 years on the market and you had thousands of reviews that you had before, they can be removed. So that's one thing to look at. The other one is also like what kind of who's your target? If you have an app that is free, if you have an app that is only $10 per month versus an app that is like 100, obviously the app that is like $100 per month will have like fewer customers. It doesn't mean that it will make fewer money. It's just that they will have like fewer people and so fewer reviews, obviously. They can't make like they can't put many reviews if you don't have many users.
Right.
So you can still make money. And so when you look at an app and you see, okay, you've been here for 5 years, you don't have a lot of reviews, we should check what is the price. Based on that, we maybe we can say, all right, it's expensive, so that's why they don't have reviews. The other thing is sometimes people are not choosing the Shopify App Store because they have some other growth channels. You say, for example, they've been here for 5 years. If they were able in the beginning to create, a good reputation, word of mouth, they have trust from users, from stores, then perhaps they don't need the Shopify App Store because they just built an engine before that helped them grow. It doesn't mean that it's a good thing. I mean, Shopify App Store is still powerful, but that's probably the reasons why. I mean, perhaps it's different for each app, but the main ones to me would be those.
Got it. No, definitely makes sense. I think what you're saying is on point here. Now, one thing that really stands out about you and your background specifically is that you're not just building, right? You're not just a builder as most of other apps founder are there. You're kind of working more around distribution too. And I think that is the core of how any app and how any product scale. You have been building community, let it be wide events, let it be the Facebook Shopify community that you have. I think that has definitely impacted and given you that additional edge to appear as a thought leader, to get more traction, to get more visibility, and to get more distribution from the overall ecosystem. When you first started building the community, or when you first started planning for the event, what were the 2, 3 things you did right which actually helped you increase that? Because again, I have tried building communities in the past. It takes time. It's a very thankless job. You have to keep on engaging with people, and then there are people who are just coming in the community and randomly spamming and posting their products and services. So you have to do a lot of housekeeping too. What were like those 2, 3 things you did really well that helped you expand your community? And again, I'm also active in the community, so I see that there are very less spam. Everyone engages and adds value over there. So what were those 2, 3 things you did right while building this out?
So, first thing is, who are you talking to? In a way that I was writing content for Shopify App Founders. They are, if you compare them, for example, to dropshipping people, it's
Mhm.
different. You have like less spam. It's a fact when you're targeting Shopify founders. So first is choose carefully who you want to talk to. Based on that, you can have like less spam, higher quality based on what you're doing. Then the second one would be you have to do something that people want to do as well. I've been building Shopify apps. I grew Shopify apps. And so many people wanted to have the same thing. Once you have something, once you did something that people want to do as well, you can just document everything. You just talk about what you actually did. You can share numbers. People love numbers. Um, you can share, facts. You're not talking about stuff you don't know. You're just sharing your actual story, and you just have to give everything. That's what I did. People loved it because I was sharing everything. I wasn't like holding some secret or stuff. No, I was actually showing what I did to grow my apps. I showed screenshots. And so by doing that, you create trust. I think the most important was trust in a way that people knew that they could trust me based on everything I was sharing, based on the person I was. And, I just stayed myself as well. It's like, don't try to be someone else. When you start online, usually you try to copy someone. You try to copy the way they are, the way they post. And so while it makes sense, you can get some inspiration. Doesn't mean that you have to copy them. Just means that okay, you see what's working. How can I adapt it to me? Then it's about being it's about discipline in a way that I started when I actually wanted to write content and I wanted to be serious about it. I started writing content every day. So I was posting every day, 3 or even 4 posts a day. Again, when you mix that with sharing your actual story, sharing the numbers, it helps, it compounds. It means that in the beginning it was a bit complicated. I was getting like a few followers like that. And then you started to grow even more because that's how social media works, right? You have more and more people. And so you have compound effect.
Right.
And then I would say is trying not to do everything at the same time. At the beginning, it was only me and X. So I was sharing on X post what I did, and that was the simple thing. Then I said, all right, I know how it works. I have some people, some followers. Let's do the same on LinkedIn. And so I added this LinkedIn layer. But before that, I knew how to handle X. I knew how to I could go faster than in the beginning. I
Right.
knew what to write about. I had processes. I had everything. I did the same on LinkedIn. Then I started the Facebook group, and so I put some energy on it. I knew how to handle X and LinkedIn. It was taking less time, so I could focus on the Facebook group. And so in the beginning, same thing. I was sharing value. I was having lives, and it helps when you have serious people, when you're targeting serious people. And then I started to add all these layers, and basically I just did things that I wanted to do as well. Like I didn't create a Facebook group because it was something I had to do. I built one because I loved it, because I started in 2017 with Facebook groups in France, and so I did all these things just by doing something I liked. I didn't have any like when I started. I just I said I just wanted to be the guy I wished I knew when I started. I didn't have like some specific goal like 10,000 followers or whatever. I was just sharing, and it helps because when you don't expect something, you can just write, start, and at some point you're like, hey, I have this 10,000 followers. And
Yeah.
so, I started posting on December 2021. I didn't have all I have today on day one. The thing is, people stop knowing you today because you have all of that, and they think that they can have that overnight. It doesn't happen like that. And so you just stay consistent, you follow all of that, and usually it works properly. I mean, I don't see how it could not work. You see, it's like a process, basic one. It's that's how it works.
Got it. Awesome. I think that definitely adds a lot of context and probably will help a lot of other builders if they are focusing on building their own community. Now, coming back to the wide event, you have the event happening this year on 18th May, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes.
At Paris. Okay. Now, I have a question and probably might be very basic one, but why did you felt the need of having your own event? I mean, there are events happening across the globe. Shopify organizes this event, other companies do it. Why did you felt it? Was it more around the branding play, the marketing play, the distribution, or was it pure from the need of networking or getting like-minded people together in the room and learning from them?
Yeah. So first point is I just loved events. I started with events. I found on my first Shopify app, I was building it with two other people that I met at events. I got my first customer for White Bundle. It was a friend that I met at an event. And so I just loved events. It's just helped me a lot and I just love the energy. When I went to an event and, I went there without any ideas of what it would be, will I like it and stuff like that. But always I would go out and was like with a lot of energy. I talked to people who had the same mindset, who were making money, and so it gives you a lot of energy, and I just love that. So that's the first point. As I said, I didn't create an event saying, "Hey, I think it's a good move. I think it can help me grow." It was just I like it. I like the events. I love the energy. Why not build one for me? And I actually started the White events as a French event. The first edition was actually in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a French event just for merchants. So, I knew some people in the market, even though I didn't make money with my Shopify apps. I knew people. I started to partner with some other people. So it wasn't just me creating the event. And so I started like that. Then at some point when I started to write content in English, I said perhaps it's a good thing to change and to target like English people. I have this other community. And so it just, changed over the year. And then it's just I didn't even think about, hey, there is another event, there is like Shopify editions, there is all of that, Shopify Unite at the time. It was just I want to create events. Let's just do one. And I know it will help everyone. Everyone. I mean, it's not like if there is one event, it means nobody can create one. I think that in this ecosystem, at least, we want to meet each other as much as possible. It's always, great energy. We like each other. It's really amazing. So one more event is always good. Like if I could create way more events, I would do it. But it's a lot of work. And so yeah, that's basically that.
Awesome. What's special about this year's event?
So this year's event, I always wanted to have, compared to the others, I always wanted to have a lot of different profiles, a lot of different people at the White event, which means that usually you either have e-com events where you have a lot of merchants, you have partner events, or like mostly you have a lot of developers. And on my side, I was like, that's sad that we're not mixing everything. And it could be great because you could talk to people you don't normally talk to. You could meet different people. And it's always great to meet people in the same ecosystem that are not doing the same thing as you. And so I always had that goal in mind to bring agencies, to bring developers, app founders, theme founders, and merchants. And so I tried that way. Since I was mostly a Shopify app founder, it was easier for me to bring Shopify app founders as well, or developers. So we always had this kind of difference between the amount of app founders, the amount of agencies and merchants. And so this year, what's special is that it's the first year where we have a lot of agencies and merchants. I don't have the exact number, I have to check, but we are closer to like a 50%. It's not yet 50%, but we are closer to what I want. So you have like as many people as like in every category. And so what's great is that if you're an app founder, you can actually go there and find merchants, find potential users for new apps, for your apps, especially agencies when they work with a lot of merchants. And on the other side, for merchants, what's great is that they can be there and actually give feedback, meet the people behind the apps that they are using. And so they could give some feedback directly. They could get some help. There are some experts in different fields. You can have experts in bundles, so you could ask for the bundles. And so for this edition, what's great is that we are close to being like 50% of every category. So, which is amazing. And always I'm trying to make the White event an experience, like a crazy experience. And so every year I'm trying to think like, what can we add to this event to make it like incredible, so that even month after that, people will still talk about it. And so this year it's the same thing. We prepared some stuff that I like. I want to make it crazy as well. So yeah, that's basically that.
Yeah, I definitely love going to events, but I think the biggest challenge for someone who's probably based in India, and the geography is definitely different. The cost for me to travel from here to there is again different. And even if at cases you're able to manage that cost, major problem for someone like me would be getting visa approvals. I have applied for US visa, I have applied for Canada visa and got rejected multiple times. So I think for someone like me, we would love if there is also an online version available. I mean, it could be live streaming of the event or the sessions happening. Are you planning something around that, or it's purely physical
No,
event?
to be honest, I'm not. I'm trying for the white event. I'm trying to make it like, something special, something where you have to be there to experience it. And I feel like if there is like an online version, we would lose that thing where it's like what happens as the white event, you can't miss it, otherwise it's gone forever. And I know that for some people who can't join, it could be like a bit frustrating, but it's something that I decided in the beginning to have what to create what the white event is today. And I know also that if we had an online version, there are many people coming to the white event that wouldn't be coming if it was online. Because, as you said, for the distance, I would say it's better to follow it that way. And it's, it's opposite. It's the opposite to what I want to create. So that's why I decided to keep it that way.
No, great. I completely understand the philosophy behind it. You recently launched a new tool. I've been following that, which is App Store Pulse, which is a very interesting tool for Shopify app founders. I myself, coming from a consulting background, have worked with close to 70 plus apps on the ecosystem. And that was one of the most tiring job of going through a listing, tearing it down, going back and forth with the feedbacks and all. I tested it out with a couple of apps that I have, with a couple of apps that I consult, and it's it's almost on point. It gives good advice. It gives good feedback. Uh, what made you work on that tool, and what are we gonna see in future the tool shaping? Is it going to be like a paid tool with additional features to track your keywords or something like that?
Yeah. So, first of all, when you have a community of Shopify app founders and you are building Shopify apps, what's not good? It's not that it's not good, but you are losing some potential in a way that I have a lot of app founders, so it's easier for me to have like app partnerships for white bundle and stuff, but I am not making as much money as I could with with my apps that I could make, for example, if I was building something for Shopify app founders. So I always had in mind in the last few years that perhaps I could build something for Shopify app founders, something that they would actually use, that they would love, and use at the end, use the community that I was building. And so I have a couple of ideas. I had many ideas, many stuff, but I didn't want to build like some things, many things, and build everything and nothing. I just wanted to build one good thing. And so I am also a Shopify founder. So I just asked myself, like, what can I build that would help me? Not just, Shopify founders, but something that I could actually use. And so there are a couple of things that I have in mind that we built internally, for example, that I didn't share yet. Perhaps we'll share it one day. But that thing about analyzing, especially with AI today, and having a lot of insights that way is really, really great, because it's something that is actually useful to me, you know? And for now, I just read really something free, because first of all, it's not that complicated. I mean, I used my experience with AI as well to create a tool that is, as you said, like trying to be as good as possible. There are always some, it's really hard to have like a complete 100% tool, incredible for listings. But I try to create something. So I have a free version because it was quick to build. I could release it quickly. I could give it in the hands of Shopify App Founders, so that I could I get feedbacks, I get people talk about it, so that I can start to have some traction around it. But yeah, I definitely have in mind many different features that I want to build, and it will become a paid tool. Definitely, because I think I can bring a lot of value to it, and I will use the exact same processes I used for White Bundle, which is like talking to many people, trying to build something that works. But what's great about it is that I am a Shopify founder as well, so I can get some initial ideas. Even if you have to talk to people to ensure that many people share the same things, what's great is that even if I don't get any users from it, it's something that I would definitely use myself. So it's not completely lost. And so, yeah, I have in mind to build kind of a tool, big tool for the Shopify app, for the Shopify App Store, and we'll see how it will be, because same thing, I don't have a very specific idea. I just want to build stuff that are useful to me, and to build things that people would pay for.
No, awesome. That's really great, and I love the direction you are heading with the tool. Now, one thing that often comes up when talking to Shopify app founders is customer experience and customer support. Especially as you scale the app, maintaining a high quality merchant experience becomes critical. From your perspective, how important is fast and reliable support and retaining merchants today?
So if we come back to what I said regarding word of mouth, we have to think about the fact that if you have a good enough product, but you have very bad customer support, then it will be really complicated for you to grow. People will not necessarily talk about your app. When you have a problem, they will just leave bad reviews and stuff like that. While
Right.
on the contrary, if you have a decent product, but you have the most incredible customer support, that's when people start to talk about your app. That's when word of mouth actually increase. And if you look at most reviews of the Shopify apps on the Shopify App Store, you will see that many of them are just talking about the customer support, because that's when people are actually happy. They expect an app to work properly. They expect it. It's an app you build, it's a product, it has to work. But they don't necessarily expect an incredible customer support. When I say incredible, I mean you reply quickly, you give custom custom experience, custom help, which means that if they have some specific thing, you can be really precise. You can give them what they want. You can, for example, on our side, when there is a specific design need, we have our technical support who can, just create some custom CSS just for that user, and it's really powerful because when you are a merchant, you have a specific need that you can't do with the app, and you have someone on the other side saying, "Hey, we will build it for you." It actually creates, a lot of. They will love you. They won't just love your app. They will actually love you, and it will help grow. And I think that's the most important thing. If you have a very new Shopify app, for example, that is still new, so you don't have many features and stuff, but you can be really active on customer support and help them, and help them as much as possible as if you were part of the team, then I think it's probably the fastest way to start growing, to get to more people and stuff like that. So that's why what I recommend. And when I actually started my app, I said that customer support was our main feature, as if it was part of the product. It's like our main feature is great customer support. It's part of that. It's a feature. You can get help. You can get custom CSS and stuff like that. And I think that's what's really, really important.
Awesome. This is really interesting point, Matt. Thanks a lot for sharing. And I think this is where exactly most team struggle as they scale. Quick shout out here. This episode is powered by the support heroes who help Shopify app founders deliver high quality support without building large internal teams. So if support is something founders are thinking about scaling, definitely worth checking them out. I'll drop all the details in the show notes. Now, Matt, you have been in the ecosystem for a while now. What do you think about founders misunderstand about building Shopify app on the App Store?
So there is always the common thing, which is thinking that the more features you build, the more users you will get. It's actually really complicated. Like, you shouldn't build every feature. As you add more feature, the problem is that you create complexity on your app. And when you create complexity, users will not use it. They won't understand it. It won't be clear, and so they will just uninstall it. Especially today, when you have so many different Shopify apps doing the exact same thing, They kind of, test an app. If it's too complicated, they just move on to the other one because they know that the other one would probably do the exact same thing as the previous one. And so making it as easy as possible is the best way to grow. It's not adding a lot of features. The features you should add are features that are actually useful to a majority of your users, or at least to all the power users, so the people bringing the most value that have been here for you for a long time. And I think that that's probably the main point. It's not about building feature. Like marketing and building features are two different things. So if you want to get users, you have to focus on marketing rather than building features.
No, absolutely. And specifically, I've seen this trend again and again during my consulting gigs that if there is a technical founder, they will keep on adding more features on top of the product again and again. They will look at the competitor. The moment the competitor launch new feature, they would want to go ahead and race to build that feature. And based on my analysis, all the power users only use about 25 to 35% features from the 100% stack. So I think it's best for people to keep the app as minimal as possible as they go, as they scale, as they talk to more merchants, get their feedback, and then build features that really matters to the merchants. That's very rightly put. Now tell me something. Let's say we do a complete reset for you, right? Your entire career in Shopify, and you had to start from zero today. What would you do differently, and how would you scale white bundles to the stage it is?
So if let's say I have to build white bundle, I wouldn't probably build it in the first place. Not because white bundle is bad, but because the needs changed. As I said, I built white bundle based on a specific need, specific problem. So today that problem is not that like as big as it was before. I said many competitors went to the market and basically did what white bundle was doing. So I would probably do the same, which is meeting as many merchants as possible. I would go straight to LinkedIn. I would start posting one post a day about just my journey. Like, hey, I've been building it. I've been talking to these merchants. I've been sharing, documenting everything that I'm doing. And I would try to connect with as many merchants as possible. Genuine conversations, trying to understand who they are, what they do, commenting on as many posts as possible. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying like at scale. I'm not saying like you should contact 10 people and then cry because you don't have any people interested in your app. No, I say I would send at least like 20 connection requests a day, at least 20 comments a day, and I wouldn't expect to have like an app idea in the first 2 months. But the thing is, people are too that they want to have everything right now. They want to have an idea, a problem right now. That's not how it works. It's a game of scale. Like you have to do it many times for a long time to get some results. And so I would probably try to get, a lot of like a big network of Shopify merchants, of agencies. I would try to go to as many events as possible, small ones, just because that's where you actually like make money. And I would try to find a problem, very specific problems that someone has that I can find in other people as well. And it's crazy how when you actually get interested in what merchants like, what they do, you get in conversations with them, you try to ask a lot of questions, which is really important. It's not just listening, it's being interested in asking follow-up questions about what they are saying. You will be like surprised at how many potential problems and potential apps you can build. Like every time I am talking to merchants, like a long conversation, and they talk about their business, what they do, and I ask questions and I go deep into their thing, almost every time I have like a new app idea. It doesn't mean that I will build it because, it's always trying, would they buy it? Can I find more people with that problem and stuff? But you always have something because they talk about, like everyone has problems and everyone's saying, everything is built already. There is no more opportunities, and it doesn't work like that. Like, perhaps you can talk to people and they will say, hey, every bundle app is too complicated. I just want something simple. You click on 2 buttons, I select that, and no more, And perhaps that's the app idea. It's like your bundles, like in 10 seconds, no more. And it could be an app idea, So it's not like you look at all the apps and you're like, there is no more opportunities. That's not how it works. So I would spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I would find a problem first. I would see if more people have that problem, and I would start building it and talking to people as I'm building it, and at the same time sharing a lot of content. I would do that, and I would do it like at scale. It's not, and I don't know after that what will come from it. I just know that I will do that work that nobody wants to do because it's like too complicated or whatever. So I would just do it myself.
No, absolutely. One funny thing I do think today is the mismatching of expectations. Most of the app founders who are recently building apps and getting their apps approved, I think they kind of have this notion in their mind that the moment their Shopify app gets approved in the next 30, 60, 90 days, they can reach a $10,000 MRR. And again, I'm not saying it's not possible. Definitely possible with the right strategy, with the right niche, with the right distribution. But the expectation mismatch is happening because a lot of folks who are successful in this field, and you have been working in this ecosystem for 6-7 years, right? You have grind your way, you have earned your success, and now you are at this 40K 50K MRR. And when you post, I think people just see those posts. Oh, this app is doing 1 million, they are doing $40,000. I'll just build a similar app, and probably in the next 30 days I'll get $10,000 $20,000 in revenue. I think that is where most of the expectation is getting mismatched. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. The thing is, something simple I say is you shouldn't compare your day one with the day 100 of another one, of another person. That's how it works. It's like, of course, you will see today what's working, but you didn't see what was before because it wasn't working. So you don't see everything. So just don't compare to yourself. Do the work that nobody wants to do. Like it's, you have to do the same tasks over and over again, but that's how you win. There is the compounding effect after that. So you like one action will not always be one action. Like sooner, like later, it will start to be like one action will bring like 10 more results and stuff like that. So just do it. Don't compare yourself to the others, and that's it. That's the job.
Awesome. Now, Matt, we are moving towards the end of our conversation today. This round is called as the Quickfire round. This is where I'll ask you a couple of questions. You just have a couple of seconds to think about it and give your answer. What is that one Shopify app you admire the most and you can't say white bundles?
I would say push out.
Okay. What is that one underrated Shopify app category today?
Security. I would say security.
Okay. Awesome. And what's that one growth lever most founders ignore?
Doing the things that don't scale, like posting every day and stuff like that.
Okay, and the last one, build product first or build distribution first?
Build distribution first.
Awesome. Matt, this has been a great conversation. You're not just building a product, but you're building a brand, you're building a community, and now building tools for other founders as well. For anyone interested in white bundles, you can check out the app on the Shopify App Store or visit whitebundles.com. Also, if you're interested in joining the White Bundle event, I'll drop in all the details in the show notes. And before we wrap up, Matt, any last 2 cents you would like to share with our audience?
Not really, just put in the work, do what you have to do, and it takes time, but if you do it properly, it will work.
Awesome. A quick shout out to our sponsors, the support heroes, who are helping Shopify app founders scale their customer support without the operational overheads. If you would like to build an app and give stellar customer support, the support heroes are your go-to partners. I'll drop in all the details about them in the show notes. And again, if you're listening to the podcast for the very first time, my name is Yuvraj. I'm building the SaaS Hub, where we are curating the top 10 apps across the Shopify categories and helping merchants find the best apps and negotiating prices on their behalf. This is me, Yuvraj, signing off. Bye.